This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com. We are beast.
What's up, everybody? It's Seth from Fowler Customs, and today I'm reviewing the brand new Q4 Specialist. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. But with all that being said, let's get into it. When most people think of basketball sneaker brands, they think of Nike, they think of Adidas, maybe sometimes Under Armour. But a brand new company out of California called Q4 Sports is aiming to change all that. And of course, that means they dropped a new model, the Q4 Specialist. A lot of people might write off Q4 Sports because it's a new brand, it doesn't have a lot of brand recognition, and people really don't know anything about the shoe. I might even have been a little guilty of it myself because when I got the Millennium High, I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, but I'm proud to report that the Millennium High, and actually most of Q4's other basketball shoes, are pretty solid. Also, before we even get into the review, I think it's important to note that one of the only downsides I found to the Millennium High and a lot of the other Q4 shoes in Q4's lineup was that the price was a little high. And that's not to say the shoe was expensive, but when you're comparing a $140 Millennium High, a brand that not many people know about, to the Crazy Explosive Low, which is an excellent shoe. It's from a big brand like Adidas. Most people are gonna choose the Adidas shoe. But I'm happy to report that when I was doing my research for this particular review, I went on Q4's website and it looks like they've dropped all the prices of every single one of their models. The Millennium High went from $140 to $125. If you haven't yet seen my review of the Millennium High, make sure to check that out. There'll be a link at the top of the screen. Not to step on the toes of the Specialist, but I think the Millennium High is the best all-around basketball sneaker in Q4's lineup, so you should probably check that review out. I don't remember exactly how much the Specialist was. I believe it was $120 or $110. Now it's $95, and I've got to be honest, that makes a really strong case for Q4. But jumping right into the review, here they are, the Q4 Sports Specialist. So the Specialist is specifically tailored for guards, so because of that, they made the material a little bit more durable. In fact, almost the entire upper is made up of synthetic material. It's very similar to the fuse overlay that you find in high wear areas of Nike shoes or Adidas shoes. It's got a black semi-matte finish with the honeycomb pattern printed on top of it. One thing I found when wearing the shoe is that it gets kind of hot when you've played in it for a while. So even though Q4 added these ventilation areas here with the mesh material instead of that synthetic overlay, it doesn't do too much to cool down your foot. However, I'm glad they're there because I'm not sure how hot the shoe would get if they weren't. Around the toe, you've got a thicker TPU material that's underneath the synthetic overlay. That, of course, is for added durability, and it seems like it works pretty well, but I don't really know for sure until I've worn these shoes for a couple months. Around the midfoot, you've got these stiff protruding lines that add support to the upper of the shoe. Although I love the black upper of this shoe, there are different colorways where this band is a different color than the rest of the upper, and I actually prefer those colorways because they kind of make the shoe pop a little bit more. But I know a lot of people prefer a more understated look, so I think this colorway is perfect for those people. Moving up the shoe, you've got your standard black laces that provide really nice lockdown. You've got a separate tongue, which is nice to see in this era of one booty uppers. They really start to get old after a while because if they don't fit you right off the bat, they're probably not going to fit you later on, whereas when you have a separate tongue, you can tighten it or loosen it however your foot needs. And at the top of the tongue, you've got one of my favorite touches. It kind of reminds you of some of those old clunky basketball shoes from back in the day. This thick pillow area with the Q4 logo. Inside the shoe, you've got pretty standard padding around the ankle, and I have to say I didn't have any problems with it. It worked just fine. As I mentioned on my review of the Q4 Millennium High in the background, the insole is one of my favorite parts of the shoe, and that's because Q4 put a little bit more thought into their insole than most brands usually do. And what I mean by that is when you look at the bottom of the insole, you've actually got this hard piece of TPU in the midfoot, which gives you a little bit more arch support, which is nice. And you've also got this oval piece of EVA foam, which is much softer than the rest of the insole and provides a little bit more impact protection on your heel. As for fit, I'd say go true to size. It does fit a little tiny bit big in the length department, but it wasn't too bad for me. If you're a wide footer, this might actually be a good option for you because I did find there was some room on either side of my foot. I have pretty narrow feet, so I would think that wide footers would be good to go with these. One thing I noticed the first couple times I was wearing the shoe is that because this synthetic upper is a little bit stiff, the first few times I wore it, it creased up a little bit and some of the creases actually dug into my toes, which kind of bummed me out. It's the same sort of thing that happened to me on the True Blue 3s with that sort of plasticky leather that I hate. Over time though, it did lessen up and it wasn't really a big deal, but for the first couple times you wear it, you should keep that in mind. Moving back on the shoe, you've got Q4's logo in this understated black and white, which I think is a lot cleaner than it was on the Millennium High, which is this bright white and bright blue, which, don't get me wrong, didn't look bad, but it popped a little too much for me. Moving around to the back of the shoe, you've got these really solid Tpu Heel Counters that are actually about 5 or 6 millimeters thick. These provide pretty great lockdown when you lace up the shoe, and they stop heel slippage, which is nice. And rounding off the upper of the shoe, you've got this black pull tab that says Q4 B-Ball. Moving down the shoe, you get to one of my favorite technologies of the Q4 Sports line, the compress midsole. Compress is Q4's foam cushioning, and I've got to say, it feels really, really good. Miles better than what I expected, and whether you're a big guy or a small guy, you're gonna have great impact protection. I can't stress that enough. It's actually a really nice cushion. Another cool detail that Q4 adds is that around the midsole, you have these triangular cutouts, and what those actually do is that when you lean on that particular side of the shoe, the cutouts provide a little bit more room for the compress to compress. I don't think those cutouts make too crazy of a difference, but I'm not mad at them, and they actually make the midsole look kind of cool. One thing I noticed though is that because the midsole is so soft and it's a glossy white midsole, you do really notice the creases that start to form when you've played in these for a little while. That's really nitpicky, and these are mainly just basketball shoes, so I doubt you'll be wearing these for lifestyle wear. Finally, moving to the bottom of the shoe, you've got this blue, black, and white outsole with herringbone traction. The traction was pretty solid on clean courts. On dusty courts like the one I play at the YMCA, it left a little bit to be desired, but it was nothing a wipe couldn't fix. One thing that's really nice about the rubber compound that Q4 uses is that it's actually really stiff, so you can play on these indoors and outdoors, and these might actually last you a really long time outdoors because of the combination of the rubber compound and the really durable upper. Overall, guys, I've got to say I'm really impressed by Q4 Sports. Once again, they knocked it out of the park with another solid basketball sneaker that works indoors and outdoors. This is a great basketball sneaker if you're looking for something durable and something inexpensive. At 95 bucks, you can't really go wrong. Personally, for basketball, I'd probably go with the Millennium High over the Specialist, and that's because I just found it a little bit more comfortable because of the upper. But I do really like low top sneakers, and I actually think this shoe looks a little bit better than the Millennium High. And actually, while we're talking about aesthetics, there is another colorway of this shoe dropping besides the white and black and this black and blue version. I think it's like a gray or a black and red. The whole midsole's red, the outsole's red, and then the upper is black or gray. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but that shoe looks so good. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get that shoe. I just don't think it's out yet, but that's a hot shoe. So thank you to Q4 Sports for sending me these shoes to review. Just a disclaimer, they didn't pay me. They literally just sent me the shoes, and I emailed them and said, I'm gonna give an honest and truthful review. So this is my honest opinion. I played in these. I actually really enjoy them. I do think there are other really great basketball shoes on the market, like the Crazy Explosive. So you definitely wanna take the other shoes into account, but I don't think you can go wrong with the Q4 Sports Specialist. Now that we've got the review out of the way, let's throw these guys on feet and see how they look. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think of the Q4 Specialist and if you'd grab one for yourself. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to Fowler Customs if you want to see more content just like this, and follow Fowler Customs on Snups, Instagram, and on Twitter.